Okay.
So, Carl Newton Piper, thank you very much for taking your time and joining me tonight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My pleasure. And thank you for having me with you. I've been looking forward to it. So, yeah, thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Good news. So, I want to ask you first of all about the name Newton Piper. Where did that come from?
Well, the town that I actually live in is Newton Abbot.
Mm-hmm.
And I played around with the idea of Sir Isaac Newton and all that sort of stuff first, with the whole Newton Abbot town and all that sort of stuff. And I wanted something to incorporate where I'm from, because I've lived around these sort of, this sort of part within like a 10-mile radius of here, all my life. Mm-hmm. And I love Newton Abbot. I've been here most of my life, and it's a really, really good town. And I wanted to incorporate that into my name. So I just went with Newton Piper because it was pretty obvious, really, because a lot of other channels that I saw when I very first started my channel had Piper in the name, so I just kind of followed suit and just went Newton Piper, and that's how I got up with the name.
Yeah, it's catchy. I was just wondering if it had anything to do with Isaac Newton, Newton Faulkner, all the Newtons. I don't know. But
it's got to be a good thing, isn't it? Yeah.
It makes more sense. Now, the name, that's out of the way, so let me see. I've been enjoying your channel recently. I see you do get to some really picturesque areas. You were recently in Dartmoor, is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
That's not too far from you then, or?
It's literally 20 minutes by car,
mm-hmm.
5 minutes on my motorcycle. But yeah, it's not too far away. I'm in Devon where I live. To the north you have the whole of Dartmoor. If you go further west, you're into Bodmin, and we've got I think it's the only county in the UK that has two coasts, because you have the north coast and the south coast, and you have the moors directly in the middle. And all my family and friends are kind of around the moors, if you like, whether it's North Devon right down to South Devon. And I get to travel around, or I did until pretty recently, get to travel. And sometimes it's quicker for me just go straight over the moors than it is going around, the long way around, So it's a beautiful place to be, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The Bodnum, then, is that where the phrase "the beast of Bodnum" comes from?
Yeah, the one that nobody seems to get any clear image of. Yeah, that's the one. Or it could be somebody's cat in their backyard,
What was it meant to be? Was it meant to be like the British version of the Chupacabra, or a sheep eating?
I think there was they reckoned that there was a zoo up on, I think it's either Bodmin or somewhere, that had exotic animals like panthers and stuff. And I think from what I remember, they were getting it all, they sort of lost control of the whole thing, financial, and they released them. Apparently they released some of these cats out on the, just to fend for themselves. They didn't want them being shipped elsewhere. So That's where I think the legends come from. But I have seen some pretty crazy documentaries, over the years that have filmed up there, and I've seen some of the carcasses that have been left from, so-called attacks, and they are pretty brutal. So, well, at least I hope it's that.
Are these sheep or cows?
It's sheep mainly up there. I mean, there are like the Dartmoor ponies, which are been up there for, I think, it's well over a century now. I think they're some sort of breed of Shetland pony, but they're Dartmoor ponies. They literally live up there all year round, and they're just free to roam. But it's mainly sheep on the lower lying hills that are attacked and savaged. It could just be a big dog or something, I don't know, but half of them are always like eating out. But then, there's wildlife out there that'll do that, like foxes and stuff anyway, if they fall over. But, yeah, it's pretty creepy up there sometimes, though, but it is an absolute beautiful place. It can be quite atmospheric, Yeah. It's pretty incredible to go there.
It comes across in your videos as well. I can imagine being up there at night time would be rather spooky, though.
Well, there's a little story. I had, when my friends and I first passed, our driving test, we had, when we had the cars, I've done an earlier video. I think it was within the first year that I started my channel, and it was the one that was to do with Halloween. and it was really, we went up there this one day, and it was all really misty, really atmospheric. And funny enough, there's on one of my earlier videos, I talk about Jay's grave, which has been up there for centuries, and they buried her bones or buried her body. The crossroads to stop her soul from resting, because they were apparently enlightened back then, so that she wouldn't go to hell and she would wander the earth. But yeah, we spent the night there, and it was pretty creepy. And there's fresh flowers every morning on the grave. That's what the legend is anyway. And there always are, fresh flowers there.
Right.
And so we stayed there the night to see if we can catch the ghost or whoever was doing it.
Yeah.
But literally, there was 4 of us in the car. A couple of us were obviously having a few bevies in the back.
Oh, yes.
But we had all fallen asleep about 3 o'clock in the morning. And when we woke up, literally the grave was only 10 feet in front of us. When we woke up in the morning, there's fresh flowers on that grave, and we didn't obviously know who'd done it, so it freaked us out a bit. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
What time did you eventually wake up? Was it like 6, 7, or a bit later?
Well, I remember it was early summer, and I think it was about 6:45, and they were there then. So they must have done it before then,
Somebody who's visiting a grave every day, why would they get up really early every morning to do it? Like to get out there.
I have no idea. That's part of the mystery.
Yeah.
But I do know that well, I have read that there might be somebody locally that's paid by some national trust to put the flowers on there to keep the myth alive. That's what I read, but we never saw anybody anyway. But then I was 3 parts pissed, in the back of a car sleeping, so I missed it.
You're gonna miss everything at that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a part of Northern Ireland called Ballinderry. Me and a friend of mine who lives there, when we were teenagers, I used to go down to his house, and do you have a drink in, I'm sure you do. You would know Buckfast. Buckfast.
Buckfast wine, yeah, Buckfast, or Buckfast tonic one they used to call it, but they banned that now. This is Buckfast Abbey wine, yeah.
Yeah,
that's literally only 15 minutes down the road, yeah.
Buckfast Abbey, that's right. And there's
the Scottish go mad for it. They absolutely love it up in Scotland.
Yeah. So do the Northern Irish. There's another tonic wine as well called Synadigen, which has slightly less caffeine, so I kind of prefer that. But anyway, we would drink a whole rake of that, smoke a few special cigarettes, and go to these graves that are like 400-year-old gravestones, and just chill out there and try and figure it out. So I can relate to that. Harmless sleeping. Yeah. You're not doing any harm, you're not there vandalizing or anything.
No, none of that. No.
Of course.
I mean, it's different now. I mean, when I was younger, literally you had, I say that up on the moors, but more locally, you had bobbies on the beat and that sort of stuff that would, give you a clip around the ear roll, they could be doing something silly, and half of them knew your parents anyway.
Yeah.
But that sadly, well, I say that sadly, but that's gone now. You don't have that type of locality anymore. It's all gone, and you just see today's sort of youth, especially over the last decade or so, smashing signs up and graffiti and everything, and keying cars and whatever. You'll get it all over the place now. I think back then it was just like I said, most of us, I think you'd probably be the same. You feared your parents more than anybody else, and if they caught you doing something like that, you were going to get the belt for it.
Absolutely, yeah. Certainly. Anyway, back to tobacco. Sorry for the detour. So I got to ask you the obvious questions then about your favorite pipes. Is that one you're smoking? One of your favorite pipes, or?
This is definitely one that I do smoke quite often. This one was gifted to me by John Dale Piper, and this is a Mortar Polinsky. And it is an absolute corker of a smoking pipe, but I've never owned a mortar before. And it's similar to Meerschaum with the whole, it's hard to ghost, and all that sort of stuff. But the one thing I find about it the most is it just smokes super cool. It's probably the coolest smoking pipe that I have. For no heat.
Is it like bog oak or what is it?
Yeah, it's bog oak. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, it's just it's pretty crazy. and it has these lovely silver bands. But I mean, a lot of my pipes that I think half my collection is, pipes that I've had either presents or gifted to me by members of the YTPC. I've been really fortunate for these guys, giving me pipes and stuff, which I'm absolutely thankful for. But I think everybody knows that one of my biggest sort of pipes that I love are the London Corner of Simon pipes, and I find them all absolutely excellent smokers. And I'm working towards getting a 7-day set. I've only got 2 more pipes to get, and I've got a 7-day set. I would have had 6, but I gave one away for one of my girls. So, but I've got 2 more left to get, which isn't no bad thing. Yeah, I mean, I may have said it recently about the best smoking pipes, but this one here as well, which is you may have seen quite recently. It's an absolute stunning pipe. I mean, it just makes me smile every time I see it, But yeah, I've got favorite pipes. I think one of them would be my. It's very similar to this. It's the one I showed, my best smoking pipe. I had there's a Savinelli 320 KS, which is gifted to me by Onion. That's another really one of my top favorite pipes. This one. But it's really hard because sometimes my tastes do change sometimes, and is it based on the look of the pipe, the way it smokes, who gifted it to you, or, which one you bought at whatever time. I don't know. It's a really hard question to answer, definitely.
True. There's so many variables, and I always like that. What's your favorite pipe? The one that I'm smoking right now.
Yeah. That's so true, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I was talking to Tim, Hermit Piper, about his LCS Briars. I was inquiring as to the drilling on the draft hole, just to see is it 4 mil or whatever. But I think Simon is of the school of thought that a little more than 4 mil is fine. There's a lot of people who think it should be 4 and no more, but I've heard rumors that anything right up to 4.6 can be the difference between a great smoker and a fantastic smoker. So
I think I've not gone too much into detail about that, but I have read a few places. I've got a few pipe books and that, and with other comments that other people have had. But the biggest thing I think is between that sweet spot of 4 and the 4.6. I think they said it was 4.5, but anywhere between that is supposed to be the sweet spot for the right amount of draft, the right amount of smoke and taste, because obviously it will affect it. And anything smaller than that is almost like, I suppose, puffing on a filtered Rolly, or something like that. It's just got a lot harder draw on it. And obviously we need a nice, decent draw to draw that lovely, wonderful smoke from the pipe, But yeah, I agree.
I've never had a bog oak. Do they have the same? Are they meant to have the same properties as a clay or meerschaum? Then they won't ghost, and you can smoke more often.
Yeah, I mean, I can. This is one of those pipes I can smoke 2 or 3 bows in the same pipe in a day, and it doesn't affect it whatsoever, which I find absolutely incredible. But I think apart from the coolness, this particular pipe, I mean, I only had the once. I've only got this one to draw on. But it smokes very similar to my Mears that I have, without the heat. But also it has a slight taste of, to me, of briar. Has that that briary sort of taste you get only from briar. So it's a real kind of in the middle between a meerschaum and a briar pipe, and it sits quite nicely in there. But I mean, it doesn't matter what I smoke in it. It's like literally. I don't get any ghosting or anything like that from any of the ones. I mean, I don't smoke any heavy Lakelands anymore, but I can smoke any blend through it and I will taste the blend. I mean, especially if I know them quite well, I'll know if they taste slightly different. But this is one of those lucky pipes that I can smoke pretty much anything through it. So this Polinsky is a fantastic pipe, and I just love the tactileness of it.
Yeah,
it feels really nice in the hand. You're really sturdy, like you're not going to drop it or anything. Some of the smooth ones can be quite slippy, but this is definitely one of those you can really just sort of hold and not worry about it. Yeah.
The rustication looks almost ribbed, like it's uniform. It's done so it's beautiful with the grain. It's exemplary, isn't it? It's beautiful.
It's absolutely. I don't know how they achieve it. I really don't. But they must. I think the rings on a tree, especially like a bog oak, I would imagine that the rings are harder than, because you'll get hard, soft, hard, soft, hard, soft within the rings. And I think they must just blast out that softer pith, or the petrified pith is easy to remove, and what's left behind is just the pure mortar, maybe. But yeah, I think that's how they must achieve it. But apparently it's super hard to drill out. It's really, really hard. It's supposed to be like, you'll go through bits if you're just doing these. They're really solid. Yeah,
right.
They're way harder than briar. Yeah.
So it's been under pressure for years, hasn't it? Isn't that how it's formed? How it's different? It's it's petrified, and it's been under a little pressure for a lot of time, hasn't it?
So, I don't know the years, but I know it's like thousands of years. I mean, obviously to petrify, I think it's 10,000 years or anything more than that, and it starts turning into stone then,
right?
Full petrification. But this is obviously before that. It's somewhere in between full petrification, just the onset of petrification from wherever the wood's fallen down into a bog, hence the name bog oak. They generally fall into water or deep mud or something like that. No oxygen can get to them, so when they decompose very, very slowly. And I think that's how the petrification sort of works. Yeah. Okay. It's pretty crazy, really, when you think about it. The 5,000-year-old pipe, crazy.
That's mad, though. It is, when you think about it. That's crazy. That is insane. Talking about your blends, then, I saw recently. Were you enjoying McClintock Latakia Flake?
That's what I'm enjoying right now. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you did. I think you mentioned this, and it's Syrian as well.
Yeah, Syrian Latakia. I mean, look at the size of that jar. Well, that was 5 pouches. I've got another 5 indoors. I was able to. I had a friend of mine. I think you all know him, Stonehenge Minstrel, and he's seen one of my videos that I hadn't smoked it, and we talked, and he pointed me in this direction. Said, "Look, I'm just going to tell you this. This is where some pouches are going. There's 7 here and there's 2 there. You might want to just grab them real quick." And within 20 minutes, they were gone. I bought them. and that's it. There's no more left in the country. Apparently, that's it. It's all gone. There's no more left. So it's actually great.
Are you going?
I'll have to send you a pack for getting me on here. I'll tell you
no, don't, not at all. It would be wasted on me. Not that I don't dislike Latakia. I just don't reach for English enough.
I know you don't.
So, but don't waste it on me. But are you going to age the other 5 pouches? Are you going to?
Yes, I bought a vacuum sealer, and they've been vacuumed up, and that's really good advice as well. I mean, because one thing recently with cellaring a lot of tobaccos and stuff, obviously I never sealed them or anything like that, but with seeing other people having pipes that have gone, tins that might have gone moldy or anything like that, I'm really super careful on that now. So anything that I'm aging, I will seal up, to the absolute max, to make sure that they're nice when I open them up. But to believe it or not, I don't actually cellar a massive amount. I cellar, some real unique blends. And the ones that I smoke that I love the most, and when I bought bulks of them, I've cellared them up, and then everything else that I have and have acquired over the years, they're literally in jars ready for me to smoke. If it's not being cellared, I don't keep it in the tins sealed. I put them in jars, because I think one thing that I've realised is if it's in a jar aging away, it does change the profile from the tin. So, and I tend to find they just smoke so much more flavorful and rounded from a jar, like a mason jar or something like that. That's got at least a few weeks to a few months to a few years on it, and it really just brings out that amazing flavor, mixing with that air. It's not under any sort of pressure, but it is airtight, so it should keep them nice and fresh. Yeah,
I'm with you. Like, don't get me wrong, I have a few tins somewhere in my bedroom, but as soon as I get a blend, I'll get it out of the tin and into a larger jar with a bit of air, and give it a bit of a shake, open the jar and smell it every.
Oh, beautiful! I love the net. I've got a specific tobacco cupboard, which is literally, they're stacked up in there. All open jars and stuff. But ones that I'll reach for, because I do kind of rotate them all, and but I literally will go in there, and even though there are certain days I'll have rich dark flake, which is my go-to, I do tend to find that I will be in a mood for a certain blend, you know, out of all the different jars I have, and I'll be digging around until I find it. I'm kind of one of those guys, whereas I don't have a set routine. I just, well, what do I fancy right now in this moment? What do I fancy? Yeah. Oh, I fancy, you know, Boswell's, or I fancy some Orlick Golden Sliced. I fancy some aged birdie flake by Solani. You know, I'm really a sort of in the moment mood sort of guy, and I'll pick out a blend that really floats my boat right there and then, you know, and it works for me. It, yeah, absolutely ticks every box at the time, you know.
Yeah, again, I'm with you there too. I've tried to, you know, I've set out to smoke this tin of tobacco, and you know, but I can't do that. It just changes. I really don't want that Virginia.
No, I'm the same. Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, some people just open a tin, finish it, open a tin, finish it. I've never understood how.
I've never done that. I think I've done that once with the first tin of rich dark flake that I purchased. I think I smoked it within a fortnight, I think it was, because I was smoking other blends as well. But I did smoke that tin quite continuous. But all the other tins, as I said, I jar up, and I never buy one tin of anything. I always buy 2 tins of everything that I buy, because I know for a fact if I like it, you know, I've got 2. One that I could either sell her, or I could put in and have more than just 50 grams in a jar. You know, I've got a bit more in it that I can just not worry about. But I have found one of my little quirks would be if I found a blend that I really like, I will try and buy a fair amount of it of that year, because for some reason they, you know, tobaccos do change from year to year. The ones that I've finished and smoked and bought more of, it could be seasonal, it could be, you know, recent pressures under everything else that's going on. Like rich dark flake this year definitely is different from the previous years, and it's really noticeable. You know, I mean, it doesn't have that wine sort of real deep plummy sort of nose hit on it. So I'm thinking it might just be, it just needs more age. Well, I'm hoping so, because I've got a 500 gram bag that I bought this year from it. But you know, I think if you find a tobacco that you smoke and you're really enjoying it, and it's from, you know, that year that you're smoking it, whatever, try and just get a couple more, because the following year it may not be quite as good, and it might be another year or 2 before that blend becomes, or it tastes anything like the one you just had, you know. So it's always well worth stocking up on it if you really like a tobacco. And if you don't, like me, you buy 2 tins, I always give them away anyway, you know. So if I'm not 100% keen, I know, not that I don't really like it, but if I know I'm not going to smoke it, I will pass it on and spread the love. I mean, let's face it, I mean, there's nothing better than seeing other people smoking a pipe, in my opinion, anyway. You know, I just think everybody should smoke a pipe. I mean, it'd be a great world to live in, then, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I'm always trying to convert. I've got my neighbor who has agreed to try, a guy called Connor. So I'll make a video maybe if he's interested.
Excellent.
Talking about rich dark flake, then you're a big fan of Germains in general, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I've got apart from a few of the ones that they make for the US market, I have a decent stock of every Germains blend that there is for the UK market. Yeah. The ones that I really like, I've got, like I said, a decent stock of. And I've actually, you know, had this sort of question asked me by different friends on the YTPC. I could literally, I could probably get rid of 90% of all the tobaccos that I own and just smoke, you know, a good handful of the Germains blends, which would make up most of my smoking blends, and 1 or 2 other ones that I really do enjoy as well from other companies around the world. But they would literally, it would probably be no more than 6 blends that I know that I mean, I could skim that down even more, but there are 6 blends that I definitely know that that's all I would need to smoke for the rest of my smoking days. As it is now, you know, I'd be quite happy. And sometimes I look at my own collection and think maybe I do have too many different types of blends. But then it was all new to me when I first started, so it was just like a big voyage of discovery, and I just wanted everything, you know. And then once you start reining that in, you start relaxing. You're not hunting for absolutely everything. You just because there's so many great people that you watch, and they describe the tobacco and think, oh, that sounds absolutely amazing, I've got to try that, and then you're off and running. You're buying more tobacco.
Yeah.
You know, so before you know, it's got this massive great ream of tobacco. You know, I must have so much of it. It's crazy. I'm too afraid to take it all out and just count it all up because it would just blow my mind. You know, sort of hide away from it a little bit. You know, yeah, it's crazy.
It's just as well you can get sometimes you find in a Home Bargains or whatever, you can get the glass jars for as low as £1. So it's just as well, isn't it?
I've done it. I've been in there. I mean, people have looked at you. You know, you walked out with this bloody great basket with piled all these old glass jars. They think, was he making jam or something? It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jermaine's as well. I'm not too experienced in them. Mainly just the only two I have at the minute is Rich Dark Flake and the Brown Flake. Brown Flake's
a lovely, lovely, lovely blend. I really enjoy that. It's one of my favorites from them, definitely. I mean, I do like the 1820, though recently I've not enjoyed it as much as I used to, which is a shame because I do have a fair bit of that as well.
It'll come around.
I tried, like, quite recently, like the Uncle Tom's, the previous one. I am enjoying the full Latakia mixture. It's quite nice. But I think, like you say, I tried Uncle Tom's, which I think I've just said, but there's so many different blends that they do, and some of them are quite similar, if that makes sense. So you could really just take, those 3 blends are quite similar. I could just pick the best of those 3, and I wouldn't need to bother with the other 2. But like you said, the Rich Dark Flake and the Brown Flake, and those 2 are absolutely fantastic. I mean, I could literally, I could smoke those 2 quite happily. But I think with Jermaine's, because they've been, I think it is 1820, isn't it? They've been around or been making blends from. And I think with that wealth of sort of knowledge and, the quality of the tobacco that they make, I mean, they make all the Esoterica blends for the US market and all the Smokers Haven stuff as well. They know how to make a cracking good tobacco, and it just seems like it's no nonsense with them, though. Do you know what I mean? Okay. They haven't got 1,000 blends. They've got 10 blends, whatever, that they make bloody well, And obviously, being quite a smaller sort of operation than, say, some of your bigger ones, they have a more limited sort of catalog to pull from, But the ones that you do make, they make, you can't go wrong with a Jermaine's blend anyway.
No, not at all. We're very lucky to have Jermaine's and Samuel Gawith and Hogarth.
Gawith Hogarth, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They make some incredible blends, yeah. I just think...
Go ahead.
I was just thinking that my only... With Gawith Hogarth and Samuel Gawith, I mean, because of the Lakeland, there's this whole thing where you like Lakelands or you don't. I mean, that's kind of the sort of 2 camps. And I think, I mean, I do enjoy Lakelands, but I don't enjoy the really powerful Lakelands, I'm not so much worried about the ghosting or anything like that, but I just think that makes them taste very samey to me, so, but their unscented stuff or the stuff that only has it lightly, I do really enjoy those. I mean, but then you get blends like, there's Bob's Chocolate Flake. I mean, it's a phenomenal blend. I mean, I smoke that quite often. It is a fantastic blend, and I do really, really enjoy it. And there are so many in their catalogue that literally, whenever I fancy something new, and I haven't seen anybody talk about it, I'll literally just look through, GQ Tobacco, say, and I'll have a look through, and I think, I haven't heard anybody talk about that one, and I'll just buy it on a whim just to try it, because it sounds quite nice. But yeah, that was quite good.
Did you ever have the chance of trying like a comparison with the Stonehaven and Rich Dark Flake?
I've had Stonehaven and Rich Dark Flake. I mean, Rich Dark Flake, obviously, in my opinion, is I think it's got deeper. There's a deeper complexity in the Rich Dark Flake than there is in the Stonehenge Flake. But I found that the Stonehenge Flake, it was nicer to smoke over a longer bowl, if that makes sense. I enjoyed the Stonehenge Flake. I mean, if I had it in, like, say, a 320. I've actually smoked them both in 320s quite regular, but I found that I enjoyed the Stonehenge Flake over a longer burn than I did the rich dark flake. I don't know why that is. It's just one of those mysteries that we're all probably out there trying to find. But I just think that the rich dark flake for me is just way more rounded, but it has that complexity that you can really sort of delve deep into.
Yeah.
If you want to, but you can quite happily just not think about it and just get on and smoke it, and not pay too much heat to it. Whereas Stonehenge flake on the opposite side, I mean, there's, if you don't watch what you're doing with it, it can just sort of like be it. The taste of it can just sort of like stay the same. It doesn't really sort of go anywhere. But then if you're smoking it over a longer bowl, the flavor profile does change. You can really sort of get into some really sort of cool nuances, especially towards the last sort of quarter of the bowl. It can be really interesting, and I really enjoy that with Stonehenge flake, definitely.
And talking about Lakelands, have you tried? I'm obsessed at the minute with it. Bosun, I can get it, or GQ, I think, have it in the plug form still. I think I may have ordered the last of it though, because I don't know if it's there anymore. But you can still get the Bosun cut plug. Have you tried Bosun?
I've not tried Bosun cut plug. No, I mean I've had Reebok plug and a few other plugs, but I've not tried that one. And I remember last year I was supposed to get some, but literally, like I said, because I have a lot of tobaccos that I buy. I do have people that give me tobaccos as well. And I have so many tobaccos that I go through and change, and some of these tobaccos I think about getting, just sort of disappear in the ethos, and I'll never get around to actually getting some. But it is definitely a tobacco I would like to try.
It's Lakelandy, but it has it's the only one I think I've tried anyway with clove essence in it. And it's.
Well, I quite like clove. Now, I quite like clove.
It's quite pronounced. It's lovely. No, I'm obsessed with Lakelands at the minute. But I mean, back when I first smoked a pipe about 8 years ago, like I only been smoking regularly for a couple of years, just over a couple of years. But I had bought my first pipe about 8 years ago, smoking Condor. And
lovely smoke.
But apart from that, when I started smoking regularly, properly, the first Lakeland really, my experience was with Ennerdale Flake, and I didn't enjoy it at all. And something has just happened recently where I just can't get enough of. I'm even the snuff I'm using is Lakeland now, so I'm using Lakeland snuff, and I can't get enough of that essence now.
It's crazy, isn't it? How you taste, and I think it's how it develops. I mean, I think that's a really apt word, because when I first started smoking a pipe, I couldn't stand Latakia. It literally made my stomach turn, and every time I smoked the really strong Latakia blends, it sounds pretty crazy, but I was almost afraid to smoke it, because it smelled so incredibly strong that I was like, whoa, this is crazy, and eventually when I started smoking, blends with a little bit of Latakia in it, and I was like, oh, this is actually quite nice, I'm quite enjoying this. And as the time's gone on, especially over the last sort of 18 months, I am now a Latakia fiend. I like you with that. I mean, I can't smoke enough of it. Literally, I could quite happily just smoke a Latakia forward blend all day long. It's one of my favorite tobacco leaves.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like that when I first started. It was really. I sort of developed into it. Which is pretty crazy. And I suppose it's the same with you with the Lakeland sort of thing.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane how it matures and develops, like you say. So I know you've mentioned a good few of your favorite blends there, but with the risk of you repeating yourself anyway, if you had to narrow it down to three, like Desert Island, the three blends, what would they be?
Oh, it would definitely be. I do know. I mean, it's going to be Rich Dark Flake, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
Is that number 3 or is that number 1?
That's that. No, we're going to go reverse order. Number 1 is definitely Rich Dark Flake. Everybody knows that about it. Number 2 would be, which it literally is within the last sort of 6 months, and that's the aged Burley Flake, from Solani. Nice. It's a fantastic smoke. I mean, it's really come into its own for me, and I got tipped off for that with by Uncle Phil. Mm-hmm. And I bought a few tins. I cracked one open, had one. I thought, yeah, it's quite nice. It's not something that I'm going to get mad about, but it was left in the jar for about 6 months, and I had a bowl of it, and then that was it. Bang! It was like, wow, this is bloody amazing, you know. And every time I have a bowl, it just seems just to get better and better and better, you know. So definitely that one. And literally very recently, I've changed my mind, because I used to absolutely love Wingfield, and you know, and Presbyterian mixture was another big favorite of mine, and indeed Brown by Jermaine's. But just recently, Boswell's Northwoods has come right up there like a steam train.
Okay.
I managed to get hold of a 10-ounce bag and 2 tins of the stuff, and luckily got through absolutely absolutely fine. And I've been smoking that pretty much every day as well. So
did you order that all at once? Did you order that all at once together?
Yeah,
you're a brave man. Yeah. You're a braver man than me.
Yeah, I did, and it got through absolutely, you know, swimmingly, you know, and I was quite chuffed about it. But to be fair, I mean, the way I look at it with the American stuff, if I buy stuff and I get collared with it, well, you know, I don't mind paying it, because it's something that we just can't get hold of, you know. So, you know, it is what it is. But I mean, when it gets through without any troubles, then happy days, you know. But those 3 blends at the moment would be my 3 blends that I would definitely love on a desert island. I'll be quite a happy and content man. Yeah, definitely.
You would like Louisiana Flake, no doubt, then, if you like your vapors, and a bit of touch of chocolate in that, isn't there, as well?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tried that particular. I do like craic, but I haven't tried Louisiana Flake. So that's something that I'm going to have to look into, definitely. Yeah.
See if I can sort you out with some. I think I have some left. I'll send you some.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a look. Right, favorite blends we've got done. Let's see. Yes. So your channel, you seem to know a lot about historical events. You seem to have a great interest in history of our country. And have you always been like that, or did you study in historical?
No, it's funny, because obviously I have on both sides of my family, on my mother's and my father's side, I have people that were in, you know, family members that were in the Second World War, and you know, I've heard the stories and from loved ones, and that's always stuck me right from a little guy. And as I've grown up and I've, you know, watched movies like, you know, there's some amazing movies like Dam Busters and, you know, 546 Squadron, whatever it's called, and there's just this whole wealth of history that we have, especially with the war. And even though it was an absolute sort of terrible time, one thing that I've always been told is, even though they were terrible, they were also some people's best times, because there was this, a bit like the YTPC, there was this camaraderie and this togetherness that nobody had experienced before or since, you know. And it really was, I mean, you know, there wasn't much food about, there wasn't, you know, you couldn't have parties in the middle of the night, and living in a city was really scary because of the bombings and stuff. But there was, you know, there was this togetherness, but, you know, obviously, you know, shadowed and marred by the actual, you know, absolutely horrific war that was going on at the time. But, you know, having family members that were in that, and were in D-Day and survived, you know, it's when you think back, I mean, can you really consider yourself a brave man? I mean, we like to think that we are, but imagine being there on D-Day on the land. Can you imagine the absolute terror of that? I mean, it break most men's souls, wouldn't it? You know, I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. But so when I look at these places that I go to, and, you know, read up on it, I tend to get blown away by the stories of in the individuals that were there. But there's just, some of them are just so, you wouldn't even believe that they're so, like, you know, absolutely extraordinary, and these are being done by ordinary everyday people. And I don't know, there's just something about it that just fills me with hope for the future and all that, you know, looking at the past and, you know, the bravery that men and women can really come up with. And I just think that the best way for me to honor that and my past and my heritage is to not only remember them, but to try and sort of live my life with the ideals that they would have had, you know. And I think that will always, it's always set me in good stead, you know, from my late sort of teenage years, you know, listening to these people and these stories. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of my family members within that time have all passed now, but I do have the wonderful memories and the stories that we sometimes share with other family members when we get together for barbecues and stuff.
Yeah.
But as I said, when you go to these places, like I've done a recent one where I went to Timoth and Sheldon, and you're standing on real history. This is, these people were really there, and I bumped into this one guy, don't even know his name. Oh boy, that was there. He goes, "Oh, do you know this?" I was telling him what I was doing there, and I was filming. And he turned around and said, they would come across in their planes, and they would be firing at people as they come over land, literally, even though they weren't there to like hit them directly, but go inland to bomb. They were firing at civilians, that were walking down the streets with their groceries and stuff. They, in broad daylight, whatever. It's absolutely crazy, but these people still, remember these stories and stuff. And so you stood there on this site where all this happened, and even though it's all covered in green foliage, and some of it's now lost or forgotten, but the marks upon the scars upon the land are still there. And just stand there and just, but to me, it just takes me to a whole different sort of mindset and different zone. I really enjoyed that sort of aspect of it, being transported to a different time. It's pretty crazy.
No, that's a fantastic way to put it. And it is important that we remember the people who give up their lives and those who survived by the skin of their teeth for us,
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just crazy. I just think, like, with all these things that are going on today, and I'm not just talking about wars around the world and that sort of stuff, but even to do with like inequality or anything, it's just this, you just hope that people sort of remember these things, and it should have been a lesson for us all to move forward with, and we should be in a massive enlightened age, and we're not, sadly, we're not. There is still a massive division of not just political but religion and all that sort of stuff, and it's all just so damn messy right now. And I think that's one of the reasons why I turned to smoking a pipe as well. It's not just to chill out in my own life, but just to find some solace and some time on your own, because you just sometimes need to take stock of that, and a pipe is a great way of doing that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. Then is your interest in the ways of the past, is that tied in why you started the pipe? How long have you been smoking? Since you were a younger man then, or?
I smoked the first pipe I ever had. I was in my late teens. I can't remember exactly how old. I think I was 18 or 19, and I was at Glastonbury, of all places. And I'd gone up there with some friends, and I had a clay pipe which I still own. And how I've never broken it all this time, I don't know. But it's been in a removal box for years. And when I started smoking this time, I pulled it back. I managed to find it and bring it back out.
Nice one.
Though it smokes far too hot, and it literally will burn me within the first sort of 2 minutes. But it's a great little blast from the past. But I when I first started my YouTube channel a couple of years ago, I think it was 2019, I'd only been smoking a short while before I started making videos. It was about two or 3 months, somewhere around there. It wasn't that long before, and I literally went onto YouTube to see how to pack a pipe.
Right.
So I didn't know how to do it, because me and my friends and that, well, see, me and one friend of mine, Raina, we had this grand idea of getting a barge and going up the the river and like having this pipe, and that'd be really cool and stuff like that. That's how I kind of and I thought, yeah, well, because obviously my granddad used to smoke a pipe and that, and I've kind of always wanted to do it. But when I was younger, I used to think I was for older people, old men sort of smoke a pipe. And one thing I've definitely found out is, everybody that sees me smoke a pipe, within my family or friends, work colleagues, or out and about the street, it's just always met with positivity and almost like a wonder, and that's something, and that just draws you even further, and everybody that, and like you, I've got a friend at work that never smoked a pipe before, covered in tattoos. And Darren, his name is, and he literally has now, last Friday he's purchased 2 pipes, a Rat Trays and a GQ own pipe, and he's got navy mixture, and he's already smoking a pipe and he's loving it. And he said his missus loves the smell of it, and he's just loving it. And he's now nearly quit smoking cigarettes. So
Perfect then, yeah.
what can we say to that? Absolutely brilliant.
What could you want? That's fantastic news, getting off the fags, and the fact that his missus likes it as well. He's definitely won the lottery there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and to start a lot younger than I did as well. So I wish I'd done it 15, 20 years ago instead of now.
Me too. Yeah, I smoked cigarettes for many years before picking up a pipe. But bad for you, nasty things. Couldn't afford them these days.
Not the prices today. My word, have you seen it? 25 quid, 20 quid for 50 grams. Get lost. Wow. No. I've even told other people that obviously may not want to smoke a pipe, but I said, look, why don't you go buy some Virginia tobacco, pipe tobacco, and only pay 12, 13 quid for it, as opposed to paying like 20, 22 pack. I said, it's crazy.
Inhale if you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's got to be better than all the chemicals they stick in all that other stuff, because of the tobacco purity laws. They don't do it to pipe tobacco as a rule, especially in the UK anyway. But this, cigarette tobacco smoke is completely different. They can add everything they want into it,
Yeah, it's absolutely shameful.
And you have such a limited range as well, such a limited range compared to that, to what's out there for pipe tobaccos or cigars even. I mean, the quality is what strikes me the most from the get-go, is just the quality of the leaf that you smoke. And you very quickly start noticing the difference between your past experiences, whether it be with cigarettes, whatever, but you just know that the quality of the pipe tobacco that I smoke anyway, that you can, I don't know, you become not a connoisseur. I mean, that's a bit too it's just the quality of tobacco that you smoke, you just realize that when you're smoking it, because you can taste the different flavors and nuances and all that, and everything is even though there are blends out there that similar in texture and profiles, whatever. Most of the pipe tobaccos are different. They not only from each other, but from year to year, and and it's just so much fun as well. And it's so social, because it's the people that I do have a pipe with, which is very limited, but the people that I do, we just sit there and we have a pipe out together, and it's just I don't know, it's like three wise men just sat down smoking a pipe. There's nothing like it, and I think that's quite infectious when people see it. They may not say it, but they probably want to be a part of it.
Absolutely. There used to be quite a lot of pipe clubs in the north. I can't find any of them anymore since the smoking ban, I guess. All these old boys are just in the house with their tins of lager or whatever and smoking in the house, I think. So a friend and I believe, I've got plans to start one in the north again. So
you should do. That'd be really cool to see you guys meet up for a pipe and a chat. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to ask then, are there any around you that they're still active, or pipe clubs?
Believe it or not, I've had a little look. I couldn't find anything, because I think it was last year. I spoke to other people about it, and I was going to do one myself, very similar to you, and start up something. But I thought, well, I don't know actually how many pipe smokers would be in my immediate area. And even though I still haven't really done anything about it, because I don't have Facebook and stuff, you see. And I don't have it for various reasons. I just think it's quite intrusive. But it's I've seen more pipe smokers. Now I'm a pipe smoker myself. I have seen them, I've spoken to a few of them, randomly. But I have seen them walking up and down the streets with a pipe, and I could have sworn I've never seen that before. I've never, whether obviously I wasn't maybe looking for it, whatever, but I have seen the odd day. I've seen like an old boy smoking a pipe, or I've seen somebody walking, like down through Kingston, with it was a like a Zulu sort of shaped pipe. And I was just like, oh, that's really cool. And I was in a car, I wanted to stop and say hello, but I think there would be enough people. I mean, but at the moment, with everything that's going on, it's just going to be, it's just going to be hassle, isn't it? So hopefully once this whole lockdown thing has been eased up and sort of hopefully gone for good, then I'm going to be like you. I think I'm definitely going to create some sort of like local group where we can get together and have a pipe. Definitely. Yeah.
Good. We'll be able to hold each other to that then. I'll check on your progress and you can check on mine and say.
That'd be fantastic. That means we'll actually get it done then,
Yeah,
It's like Alcoholics Anonymous, but you know, your friend, but for pipes instead.
Yeah, I'm your sponsor. Have you set
Yeah,
up a pipe fund yet? You bastard! Hurry up.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, I just think, I think one of my biggest overriding thoughts about, you know, that whole sort of, you know, smoking a pipe with your friends and that, I always think in my head 1940s, you know, just that sort of era, you know, and I don't know why. I mean, it's just the whole leading into the war stuff, but I just always think that even though it's from a bygone time, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
it is as modern today, you know, and as relevant as it was back then, because you still have all the classic shapes that people make and you can buy in shops, but you have what I call modern classics, which is where they have the classic and they have the modern stems, or the, you know, they can get quite fancy, and that kind of really brings it into our, you know, the 21st century, if you like. They're not just all, you know, black or just a particular one classic shape, and they all kind of look a bit samey. But nowadays, like, you know, you've got not just LCS briars, but you've got, like, you know, Northern briars, Blake Marl briars, Jamie Tarn pipes, you know, Eric from Sea Smokes. You know, these are great artisan pipe makers, and they you know, will make you what you want, really. If you ask them, they'll commission you anything you want. But the pipes that they make just off the cuff are generally works of art, and they're just absolutely fantastic. Not something you can just walk into a shop and buy. These are,
Yeah,
you know, really kind of one-offs. And I think that you know, that whole, you can be as classic or as modern as you want, you know, and I think that's what I really like about LCS, is because obviously he's not been doing it that long in the whole sense of making pipes, and we've all, you know, I've been there, you know, watching it right from when he started. You know, I have some of his really early pipes, and to see the quality and the what he's done up till now.
yeah.
But it's, I mean, for me, when I first started smoking a pipe, I only wanted pipes that were brand new, because I didn't want an estate pipe because somebody had smoked it before. Why would you want that? You know, I didn't get it, you know, and I only wanted a black stem, you know, all that sort of stuff, and I didn't want anything. Yeah, but now I'm completely the opposite. I mean, I love the coloured stems. I just think that, and I love this red. You know, I just any pipe that has a red stem, I kind of normally tend to buy. But you know, it's just weird how you change over time, and your pinches. I mean, like estate pipes, I just think are so good value for money, and half the time they're broken in already, so they just smoke really well from the off. You know. And they all tell a story as well, don't they? So yeah, it's fantastic.
One of my best smoking pipes, an old 80s Hardcastle from off eBay for 20 quid or whatever.
Oh, brilliant. Love Hardcastle. Yeah, they make some lovely pipes. And of course, Parker, well, Hardcastle, I mean, it's all part of, wasn't it all part of Dunhill back in the day?
Then Parker, then Hardcastle, kind of second.
They were made by great, you know, good carvers anyway, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were made, you know, really well. Yeah, definitely good pipes.
But I mean, the wood's really old now, so it's just going to be by default smoke a lot better. So it's just great.
Yeah, exactly. And not that, I think that the older pipes as well. I mean, I might be wrong, but from what I remembered other people saying, that the older the briar is, the harder the briar is as well, and it's like it'll be more resistant to burnout and all that sort of stuff. But you also get that patina with like the lighter sort of coloured pipes. You know, they darken up and they get that real particular patina that you just can't get through staining. Yeah, it's like it's, you know, you really get, it's almost like a meerschaum in that way, where it will colour up. And I mean, the best example of that is like the Morgan Bones pipes. You know, they're not natural, and they really darken up almost like a meerschaum. And and again, it's a journey that you can physically see on the pipe when you started to, you know, to the current day. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love it. Yeah.
I think they even colour faster than meerschaums.
They probably do, yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen a few people that have had them, and literally within 2 weeks, you know, they've really start going, you know, and it's not just from the pipe smoke itself as well, but it takes the oils off your fingers and your hands as well. Yeah. That sort of stains it as well. But yeah, what a cool thing. But they're really hard to get hold of here, aren't they, in the UK?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you have to order from the States, don't you? Yeah. Talking about meerschaums, then you have White Fang's meerschaum pipe, don't you?
I do. I haven't got it with me here. It's in the house, but that was a commission that I had done last year, and it smokes. It's a wonderful pipe, but it's non-filtered, and I wanted it specifically to be non-filtered. But it's just a really well balanced pipe, and again, it has that deep dark red stem.
Yeah.
But it was my first meerschaum, and I wanted to have that whole colouring and meerschaum, and you know yourself.
Yeah.
However, I've found I don't smoke my meerschaums very much. I very seldom smoke them, and it isn't because they're a bad pipe or they don't smoke them, because they don't. I just literally, I just always tend to just go straight towards the briars. I mean, it's just, for me, I mean, it's just, I'm a briar man, you know, I can smoke briar every time. But I do have another meerschaum, which is a
rat race, isn't it?
Yes, actually White Goddess with the it has a stem by Eldritch Pipes. And that was gifted to me. That was from a good friend of mine, Get Journeyman. But it looks like Coca-Cola that you poured out of a can into a glass, and then you just froze it like that, and then you made the stem out of it. It's absolutely incredible when you see those eldritch stems. They're fantastic. I mean, you just look again. It's like a modern way of doing it, isn't it? The acrylics and stuff. Yeah. But you make classic shapes with this modern twist on it. It's a really good time to buy a pipe and be a pipe smoker right now. Definitely. Yeah.
I know.
But I do really like meerschaum. I just don't smoke them as much as I thought I would do.
Yeah. Simon used eldritch stems. I think he bought some rods off of him. I might be incorrect, but I think he mentioned that he's either got some or he's getting some. So that'll be interesting.
No, I'm sure he did purchase them. And I think he has made one or two, maybe. I think they were the greenish sort of stems. I think they were. I remember. I don't know now. I've seen so many videos over the last 2 years. It's hard to try and place a lot of the things I've seen. But I'm absolutely sure you're right and correct that he did. And those stems, I know Chris, he sold them all around the world, you know, to different pipe makers and that. I mean, you know, he's really cornered the market on that stem that he makes. I mean, I would love one of his tampers, you know, with the little skulls inside, you know. They look fantastic.
Like you can get them real toxic, bright green color with skulls inside and blood.
Oh, they're brilliant. I mean, but it's just a lot of time. I'm not a very patient man in one way, which is where if I've got to wait really, really long time to get something, I tend to sort of go off the boil on it. And that's why I haven't got one of his pipes, because there's such a long waiting list. Yeah. And you know, if I see something and I'm on the boil, I tend to like it quite quickly because I want to enjoy the experience. And you know, but it's absolutely crazy. But he does make fantastic, really out of the way shapes as well. You know, and like there's one I've seen on his website, which is it's acrylic briar. I mean, how on earth do you make something like that? I mean, it's actually, I think it's like the Alchemist Strawberry or something like that. I mean, what a name, you know. It's pretty crazy. You know, these guys are so skilled at what they do. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely. I've done talking about carvers, I haven't commissioned, I wouldn't call it a commission. I've just asked Eric Weaver, Sea Smoke Pipes, to make me a pipe. And just, nice. I just said, just keep me in mind. These are the shapes I like, but you know, go freehand. Just go whatever, and just see. Wow. Well, I can't wait to see what he turns it up with.
He makes an incredibly amazing pipes. I mean, there was one that I've seen that 13 pipes, Veline, you know, that he had one, and his J. Mouton pipe that he smokes is a fantastic pipe, you know, and it reminds me of the it's almost like a Bing, like the original Bing shaped sort of pipe, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a pipe maker it's not maker, I think I'm not quite sure how to call it. Yeah, it's a pipe maker, but it's in the States, and they're called Merchant Service, a bit like the wartime cigarettes, but they make these, what they call the Bing pipes, and they're made exactly the same length and size and weight as the original Bing Crosby. Bing Crosby pipes, you know, and they're about $150, and I really want one of those, you know.
Yeah, the exchange rate's pretty good at the minute, so
they are at the moment. It's a good time, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Is the Bing's favorite by Savinelli? Is it exact to the dimension? No, it's just No.
I'm not quite sure how the whole story would come along, but it has that weird bend bit in the stem, and it isn't an ugly pipe, but
yeah,
all Bing's pipes that I've seen, his ones that you would imagine him with, they have the dead straight pencil sort of thing, stem with that real long with the silver band in the middle, and it's about that sort of long, but they never had that bend in it.
No,
not as far as I know, anyway.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what he comes out with. I don't want to see it even, maybe. I don't want to know. I don't want to know if it's a girl or a boy or anything, and I haven't thought of any names yet.
You look forward to that. That's good.
Yeah. But I have a meerschaum here from Ali Barinci. It's colouring up quite nicely.
Wow, that looks fantastic. Look at that.
The walls are.
Look at the stem on it as well. That's really nice, isn't it?
Isn't it nice?
That's beautiful. Wow. See, that's something that would just pick my interest straight away.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's a fantastic looking pipe. Yeah.
That was my first.
What does it smoke like?
Absolutely wonderful. And it's the walls aren't that thick, so it's colouring up nicely. It won't take 30 years, I don't think. So
wow.
I really enjoy just for I'll probably have a wee short smoke out of it when this is nearly done.
Excellent.
But yeah, Ali Barinci, if you're going to get another meerschaum, I would check out his website.
I will, definitely, yeah.
eBay. I'll send you a link to it.
Excellent. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's so many. It's always best to take a recommendation, and this is for any viewers that are watching the channel. And if any of the content creators, and because these people have had these pipes and they smoke them, right? So if they recommend a pipe or a maker and that, I mean, it stands to reason they're probably going to be a pretty damn good smoke, because I've gifted a few pipes over the years, but I've never had a pipe that I've just gone, this is so bad, it's crap. I'm just not going to bother. Well, no, I tell a lie. No, I do. I made one myself, and it was the worst pipe that I've ever smoked. And
was it the pre-drilled block? Was it?
Oh no, it was. Yes, it had a pre-drill with one of those stems.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that. It was it wasn't that one. It was a different one I had. I made out of a bit of oak that I had.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I'm on about, and I drilled it down. Got the drill pretty good. But I tried smoking from it, and it was just freaking awful. It was so bad. And in the end, I threw it on my open fire. My fire instead. I didn't even want to show anybody. It was so bloody pathetic.
Really? And Carl, you had no one to blame, did you?
No, it was only me. I'm glad nobody else got to experience it either. It was absolutely crazy, man. It was just so bad. I think it was a little bit skew whip as well.
I haven't attempted to carve even from the pre-made, pre-drilled blocks yet, but I will at some point.
It's definitely a fun experience, but I just think, for me personally, I mean, there are so many good carvers out there. I don't need to bother, but it was fun to do. But I think I expected too much from my own handiwork, and it didn't work out that way. Just rate what you expect. You're gonna get a little bit back, and you should be okay.
At least you're not just smoking it in vain every day.
No.
This is I had
two bowls. I had two bowls, and then on the second bowl, I was like, nah, just throw it in the fire. And it literally within sort of 25 minutes, it was gone. Yeah. The fire had eaten it. Yeah.
Chew toy for the dog if it hadn't have gone in the fire.
He wouldn't have played with it. He would have just sort of like looked at it and walked away, I think. Yeah.
But yes, it was Bremen Piper who mentioned Ali Barinci, so just in case.
It's a name to keep hold of that, definitely. I'm going to look into that.
Yeah.
And that stem as well. I do like a good stem on a pipe, and that is a fantastic stem. Yeah.
Beautiful color. The next question then. I've seen you smoke both filtered and unfiltered recently. Then is that the way you are? You just use it depends on blends, or
it's something that I've literally been experiencing right from the get-go, because the first couple of pipes I had were non-filtered, so I'd only ever smoked non-filtered pipes. And I saw Dale Piper smoking a filter, and I saw a video with him talking about filters and that, years ago, and that kind of interested me. And so after doing a bit more research, I watched, there's lots of people out there that were, fantastic for this sort of information, like, Gene Panzer and all that. They have ones, I'm smoking this blend with a filter, without a filter, and it's different taste profiles, and it really got me intrigued. So I started buying pipes that had that needed a filter, or could take a filter, a 9mm filter. And literally I've tried every single blend that I've ever had since my first filter pipe. I've tried it without a filter as a first, so I know what the standard is for that blend. And then I try it with a filter and see what the difference is. And it is surprising how many blends are really, really opened up by a filter, and how many blends are stifled by a filter. And it's crazy. And I've got a big list that I've written down with them all, with what my experience is. But the good thing is I tend to remember when I go to pick tobacco up, this is a really good one with a filter. This was not good with a filter. So I do add to the list, I mean, I'm smoking Boswell's Northwoods here, and no filter.
Right, yeah.
Because for me, this smokes superb without a filter. But it was really weird, because the other day I was smoking with filters, with the nice sample that I had. I thought, no, this is definitely a filtered blend. It just helps round it off a little bit, and then, but since then I've changed my mind. I prefer it without a filter. I'm absolutely crazy. I don't know, it's just I really am kind of hit and miss.
There's a method in your madness there somewhere.
There is. And let's face it, if you're going to enjoy something or anything in life, you're going to enjoy it. You experiment, because if you can squeeze every last little dime out of that little sucker, you're going to get the best of the best out of it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I definitely try them all without filters, and for the most part, most of them fall into one or the other. This has been the real only sort of blend that kind of started off one way and it's completely changed into something else. But yeah, no, I enjoy them. Yeah, definitely.
I'm the same. I smoke about 70% filter, but there are some blends like that just require it to be unfiltered to get the full.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. And I think my percentage isn't too dissimilar from yours. I think I smoke about 60% with filters, and about 40% down.
Do you have an Excel spreadsheet that you update then with all this information, or
it's all written down by pen? But I do update it now and again, especially with new blends. I will actually write them down and just say filter yes, no, and my general thoughts on 1 to 5. And I have, this is, like I said, this recent tobacco is the only one that I've kind of reverted back to a different answer. But up until now, it's kind of, it will fall in one of those two categories. And like I said, some it will really enhance the flavors, and it really does bring out the best in the tobacco. And there are others where it literally makes it pants, and it's just not worth smoking with a filter in it. However, on the other side, the upshot is with a filter is, if the blend is too tasty, I tend to drool an awful lot. And so, and I know that having a filter in there will stop any of that muck from getting down there. But one thing I've definitely realised is, because I do like the straighter pipes opposed to the bent ones, they don't get all wet inside because it's generally always quite straight. You see, but if I get the ones with the big bends in them and I smoke without a filter, I literally make a right bloody mess of them, especially if they're a tasty blend,
Yeah. I'm the same. I start drooling when I start thinking about certain blends, or even when I'm packing the pipe, or if I'm...
Bob's Chocolate Flake is an absolute killer for that for me.
Yeah. I've always said that when I smoke that shit, especially in the Hardcastle that I have, it's as if the stem is made out of dark chocolate. That's
so true. Yeah.
So I'll be putting the dog's harnesses on to go for a walk, and the pipe's unlit, and I'm dribbling all over the side of my mouth. The dogs are...
That's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. But no, I mean, I definitely know that the tastier the blend is, the more I've got to watch how I'm smoking it, because I will puff that sucker, to within an inch of its life. And if you make it too hot, it ruins it. Gives you tongue bite and all that. But sometimes blends are just so damn tasty. It's so hard not to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me, just gonna pop this heater on.
No worries.
There we go.
Get it on. Get it warm in there.
Get her warm. It's not too cold tonight. It's about 5 degrees, or maybe no, it's 8 degrees. So
not too bad. It's still cold though.
Chilly enough. But there's a term I've only really learned what it's meant. I've heard it bandied about on your channel quite a lot, and then on Reddit and stuff, and on Instagram and stuff like that. But lunting, so you do quite a bit of lunting as well. How long has this term been about? Am I just late to the party? It does.
I got it.
Walking with literally, not it.
Yeah, it's literally walking without any real purpose. I think it's literally you're just out walking with a pipe, because you want to be out in the fresh air while smoking a pipe. I think that's the real sort of term for it. And I heard it a couple of years ago, and I can't remember for the life of me who said it, but he said in a real gruff voice, "I'm going out for a lunt now, and I'm going to enjoy this blend." And off he went. I thought, what the hell's a lunt? I was like, because it's an American guy, and I was expecting to go out killing some sort of animal or something. It took me a little while to realise that it was a phrase that they used to go walking out with the pipe.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember. I mean, just similarly, it was like I didn't even know what YTPC stood for. I didn't know what a gore was.
Yeah, and
I was trying to search for it, and nobody said what it was. And I was just like, bloody hell, I feel like such a noob. I don't know what these terms are, but it's great fun to find out what they mean, because it's almost like code speak for pipe smokers, and you'd know a pipe smoker, a real one, a mile off, with his terminology that he may use. I just think that these old sort of words and traditions and that, it's all part of it, and I like keeping that up as well. But I just think it's just a correct word, lunt, for the job in hand. Absolutely. I can't think of any other word I'd use.
It's fantastic, and I'm going to try and utilize it as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
So while you're lunting, I've seen 2 dogs. How many dogs do you have in total? Do you have 3?
Yeah.
One of which
I have a Springer. Well, it's actually a Springer cross. I bought when I it sounds absolutely awful, but when I purchased Baxter, the Springer, he was a purebred. He had papers and everything. Right, comes from a real long line of gun dogs. Had all of it. And within the first sort of 6 months, I realised his hair wasn't growing the way a Springer should. And I was like, listen, but by then I've already fallen head over heels in love with him, and he loved me he still does, I hope, but he loves me to bits, and the whole bonding thing took place, and there was no way I was going to give him up, because then obviously I found out that half the litter was Springer poodle, and the other half were purebred Springers, and it was because their next door neighbour's dog had managed to get in and sire with the female Springer as well. So it littered both sets of these Springer crosses and the Springers, and the one that because Baxter picked me because I was trying to go for this one that I really liked. And Baxter he was only a little pup, and he kept pawing at my leg, and he was almost shooing him out the way. Didn't pay no attention, and then it wasn't until I looked down at him and he was just looking with him eyes, like, oh, it's got to be you then, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that was it. But because he has, it's called hypoallergenic hair. He doesn't have fur; it's hair. So he doesn't molt. So he gets really hot. So he needs to be shaved every 8 weeks because he gets too hot. So that's always a bit of a pain. But he's definitely more Springer than poodle. The other one is a collie. She's a purebred collie, and she's a merle, and that's to do with the eye colours and the coat colour with that weird grey and black, which is quite unique. She's a beautiful dog, she really is, and she's the one that had the gut troubles, and that's what's kicked off the whole raw fed thing. And Taya, which is the little Jack Russell, she's 14. So she's had a heart murmur all her life, and they said that she wasn't going to live that long, because obviously my partner had her way before obviously we were together, and so and they said, oh, we're going to live, but obviously being on the raw fed, well exercised, she's 14 years old and she'll keep up with the rest of them. She's on it.
That's amazing. 14 years as well.
Still going with a heart now. Yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. I think, like I said, it is to do with the diet and the exercise. I think definitely that I would recommend. I mean, it took a little while to get used to that raw fed, because you're dealing with this raw meats, and I don't just mean like this packaged nice stuff out of the bloody freezer at Tesco's. We're talking, you've got this minced up rabbit ears and God knows what else is in there, parts of pigeon and whatever, deer and boar and all that. But it's just such good quality stuff, and they and it doesn't matter even if it's what do they call it, green tripe.
Yes, I was going to say green tripe.
Stinky stuff.
Really,
but they love it. I mean, they will just go mental for it. They absolutely. I mean, and they never get. And literally. I mean, I know it sounds a bit gross, but when Baxter, when I had him, years ago when he wasn't on raw fed, he would do these massive cow pats, and now they do these hard, tiny little bloody pellets, and that's it, which means the body's taking all the nutrients and just discarded the waste.
Yep,
absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So the raw diet, folks, for any of you guys out there who have dogs, if they're not eating a raw dog food diet, they should be. So
absolutely.
Just
absolutely
make a point, investigate it. It isn't too. It's not even. If you're spending money on,
it's cheaper. Well, it's cheaper for me. Honestly, I save money being raw. Yeah,
same here. But yeah,
and it also, it's not just the gut health, but I found their coats are always really well and shiny. They don't have any skin rashes or itchiness or anything like that. They're just really healthy.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. Yeah, just for changing into a raw food diet.
Like I mentioned to you earlier, we were able to take our dogs off their medication, which
wow,
because of the raw diet. That's astounding. Like, so folks, feed your dogs raw. Just do it. Just take
absolutely.
If you want to send me an email, you're not too sure where to go to or what to get, send me an email. I'll help you out.
Yeah, same here. Especially if you're in the Southwest. Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic. I mean, like I said, I tried to be better, with my own diet and stuff, but I mean, I could really take a leap out of that experience alone and how well it does them for their body to eat a real natural, healthy diet. So, maybe we could all learn a little bit from that and eat a little bit more healthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
crazy.
Because of my wife, I'm actually mostly vegan these days. I do. If we eat out, for example, I'll order a steak because I never get one in the house. But I eat mostly vegan food. So
well, it's funny because she's not vegan. She actually is. She's vegetarian, but she does eat a lot of vegan stuff because her sister's vegan, so they kind of buy the same sort of stuff. And I've tended to find over the last, because that's only been over the sort of like the last year that she's done that, and I've gone from eating beef and steaks and all that, sausages, like quite often, to literally, I'm the only one that eats meat now, but it will be a treat for me. Like, once a fortnight, I might have a bacon sarnie, or I might have, a burger or something, or a steak. But now I just think, well, what's the bloody point? Because half the time it would only be for me anyway. So if we're going to eat the same thing, it may as well just be the same thing as what she's eating. And half the time it's because she's cooking it anyway. So I'll just, I'll just eat what she's cooking.
It's easier.
She's a good cook. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about you. I had long hair for many years as well. So seeing you with your lovely, very healthy looking long hair. Have you had it your whole adult life, or how long have you had long hair for?
No, I had literally up until my late 20s, I was a skinhead. Proper 0.5 or 1 skinhead the whole time.
Were you listening to ska music or?
Well, that's the weird thing, because I obviously started playing guitar, and I got right into my rock and stuff. And so, as I got into that more, I started to grow my hair more, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing, and then I just left it, and I had it down to about here the first time. And I remembered I was working. I worked at a very popular superstore for approximately 1 month. And I was there and I had long hair, and I had a little young girl come up to me, tug me on the back and say, "Excuse me, miss, do you know where the sugar is?" Right? I turned around. She ran off crying back to her mum. I thought, she thought I was a woman. What? So I was like trying to like man up a bit. And then I remembered it was about 2 weeks later, I was having a pasty, and I took a big mouthful of my pasty, and I was like, and I'd eaten like a load of my bloody hair in with it as well. And I was so pissed off that at this point, I went home, because I had there was a set of clippers that we had, family clippers, and I just went and just shaved it all off.
Serious?
And then I was like that for a few years, well, for many years, and then I literally started growing it about 4 or 5 years ago. And so obviously this is the result of that this time around. Yeah.
You're the same as me then. I was one extreme or the other. I'm in the process of
it's either there or it ain't. That's it. There's no in between for me.
Absolute skinhead or long. So it's in the process of coming back.
Yeah. I do miss just going into the shower and going, and that's it.
Yeah.
Towel, and it's done. Not now. It's a right bloody rigmarole, isn't it?
Went 20 minutes to dry your bloody hair, I know.
Yeah, soaking down your back, you're trying to wait to go to work and your back's wet already. It's like, what? Crazy, man.
In the winter as well, with your head being freezing.
I mean, I ride a motorcycle and I stick to the speed limits, right? So obviously, when this is like, if I got it in a potato and this is flapping, I've gone at the speed limit at a certain speed, and I've literally been whipping. It's been whipping around, whipping my neck. What the freaking hell is that? Pulled over and realised it's all my hair that's just got wet in the rain. It's been whacking me, like. So I've had to slow down, because I was getting whacked by my own hair. So I had to start tucking it into my jacket out of the way. Crazy.
I recently passed my theory for motorcycle and the what do you call it? Your cock and balls torture, your CBT.
Yeah.
What is it? Cognitive, just compulsory basic training.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I used, believe it or not, I used to be a motorcycle instructor. It was here on the Newton Abbot race course, and I've done that for a couple of years. And that was a really good job. But the downside to it is because you ride a bike all day, every day, when you get to the weekends and your mates all want to go out for a burn, you just didn't really fancy it, So in the end, I just give up. And that was the real only reason why I did that, because the pay wasn't great, but but yeah, it was a really fun job, really rewarding to see these people, riding their bikes and that, Yeah, not ever ridden a bike before, and then they were able to leave at the end of the day, and it's good, really, really good job. But the CBT, I mean, it's just a training day. It's not, there's no pass or fail, they say.
Yeah,
that's what we're supposed to say, because it's just, once you're up to a level that you're safe, then you're allowed to go on the road. So there's no pass or fail. It's just literally, if you're safe enough and the instructor's confident enough that you're going to be all right, then you'll get the ticket. Yeah.
No, I'm hoping to pass. I'm going for the direct access A1 this summer or spring. So as soon as it starts to warm up a bit, I'll be out there, and hopefully.
Definitely, you'll love it. There's nothing like it, And once you've got it, it just opens up a hope, because driving a car and riding a motorcycle are two completely different. I mean, it's chalk and cheese, I mean, I mean, yes, you're a bit more vulnerable. I say a bit, you're a lot more vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
But then there is that added sense of realness to it all. You're higher up than most cars. You're really out in the elements. You really take it all in. Your viewpoint is not obstructed by bars and windows and that sort of stuff. And it is just an absolute wonder to go out on a motorcycle and to ride about. The only thing is, you just have to be super vigilant, because not everybody expects to see you. And that's why
invisible is the best advice that everyone says. Ride like you are invisible, and nobody can see.
Exactly. Yeah, and literally they will look at you and they will still pull out, because they've looked at you, but they haven't actually seen you.
Not process.
It's a crazy thing, but that's the biggest cause.
Yeah. I'm surrounded, like 3 of my closest buddies are bikers, and have been trying to just get me to do it. I'm 36 this year, and I'm only doing it now, but I've always just had a healthy fear I guess.
Yeah.
That's why it's taken me so long. But it was the best fun you can have with your clothes on that day out on the. So
Definitely.
I just can't wait. I've got the bug already. You know, I've bought the
Yeah,
gear,
you love it.
I bought the jacket, I've bought the trousers, bought the helmet, everything. I'm ready to go.
Wow. I want to see some videos of you out and about. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool.
We'll have to try and invent a word. Here's one for you. We'll have to try and invent a word for lunting, but on a bike. You know, where you pull up and you have a pipe on your bike.
Yeah.
A pike. That's a fish. You know, I don't know, but come up with a word. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. You never know. Maybe one day I'll get the boat over and we'll go for a ride.
That'd be cool, man. Yeah, meet in the middle even. You say you haven't gone away, but you'd always be welcome at my house, my friend. You'd always be welcome here. Absolutely.
Me too. I've got a bedroom with an ensuite, so you don't even have to come in and show me your willy or anything. You can have your own bathroom. So it's grand.
Yeah. Man, it would just be messy, man. It would be messy. Me and you'd be out on it, dude. Be on it. It'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be good times.
Did you ever come to see the Northwest 200 or the Isle of Man or anything, the TT? Or
I've always wanted to go and obviously see those things, and especially the TT. But I think me and my friends, when we've done like the Land's End stuff and the going up. I mean, I've ridden from here to Romania, on a motorcycle, and I'll have to, one of my next videos, I'll show the book of the trip and the journey. It was really cool. That was on an Africa Twin. But we've seen all these things, all these races that we'd love to go there. But if with friends that have gone before, they've said it's absolute bloody mayhem, like getting the ferries in advance, and then everybody's in everybody's way, and then you watch the races, and all you want to do the whole time is race your own bloody bike, and you can't. So we used to spend days at Donington, and or go down like to Land's End and stuff, or go away for riding weekends to across to France or Spain and stuff like that. We used to just do stuff like that instead. Yeah. But we used to watch them quite regular. I mean, not so much in the last few years, but we used to watch them every year when they would come on the TV and that. And then we'd always have a beer. It'd almost be like our football, Yeah, because it was such good fun to watch, Yeah, and those TT races are brave bastards. Excuse my French, but they're absolutely crazy. The skill and their bollocks. They must carry them round, right, in a wheelbarrow. Yeah. I'm sure they do. Big brass ones. Yeah.
There's only one Dunlop left, I think, isn't there? There's just or is there two? The Dunlop.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's I can't even remember all the bloody names now. But as I said, I've not really watched it in the last few years. But I think if anybody watches them, either on YouTube or watching them at the time, it's just, I mean, it would have to be riding a bike anyway, if you take your eyes off the road, that's it. But at those sorts of speeds, like 200 miles an hour, it's absolutely crazy. So they don't even ride like we ride. They have like thumb brakes. Instead of using the rear brake on your right foot as we would, they're using it with their thumbs and that, so they can like favor both brakes and stuff. I couldn't even imagine riding like that. It's absolutely crazy.
No, it's insane. It's as if they can time travel or something. It's as if they're how can they perceive that fast? I mean, it's just.
I've often wondered that myself. I've often wondered it myself.
Yeah.
I bet you they'd have to, if they smoked the pipe, they'd smoke it in 2 seconds flat. Well, no, not at all. One toke and it's done. That's crazy.
It's good fun though. I wanted to ask then, I know you're musical. I've seen you're playing the acoustic guitar, and I noticed your email address at Bauer Sound. Is it sound engineer or something like that? Or
well, no, because when I first looked into like the whole YouTube thing, I was gonna do because I already had a YouTube account, and it was Bauer Sounds, because I was going to make with this studio and everything else. I was going to make it a music channel, and it turned into a piping channel. Okay. And that's kind of how that happened. But this whole music studio has just been one big labour of love, and with everything that's gone on and the bloody lockdowns and God knows what else, and then nearly losing my job through redundancy and that, and then managed keeping it at the last minute, and it's just been up and down, and not just for me, for bloody everyone out there, you know. And you know, and you end up, because we were on furlough pay for so long, you end up like not having a lot of money, and then things get put on hold, and everything just starts taking a back seat, and then it's trying to get back into it again. So I've got a lot of stuff done now. It's literally now all I've got to do is like the fixtures and fittings and all the wall art and stuff that's got to go up, and that will be hopefully within the next few weeks. That'll be finished, because all the electrics have all been sort of done and dusted. It literally is just the fixtures and fittings now. But I've been careful not to reveal too much, because that video is going to be, I've got a special London Calling with Simon pipe that I've set aside, that I've had for well over a year now, that I haven't smoked, and I've been waiting. So when people see me smoke that particular pipe, that'll be the first thing they see, and they know that the studio is open and ready to go, and I've got some real cool stuff to show people when it's done. But yeah, so I would like to branch out into the music side of it, but I've also I love the piping stuff, believe it or not, I love my guitar playing, I love music, that's what I'm all about, definitely. But I equally love the pipe and the pipe smoking, the people and the friends, and if I had to really choose between two channels, I would keep my piping channel, definitely. But if I make another channel, it will be to do with music and literature. It will be those two sort of things. Because those are my other two passions: is the music and my writing.
Would you make a separate channel? I think is it Stogie Farts? He draws and he'll like start drawing. I think he does his stuff on the same channel as his pipe stuff. So there are people out there, I think, who just.
I think for me, I think
necessarily need to make another.
Yeah, they can, and I think that is a really, that's a valid point. I just think for me, because I age restrict everything that I do because of the pipe smoking.
I guess.
If I'm playing music or doing stuff about books, even though I would be quite happy to smoke my pipe while I was doing it, if you age restrict it, you're restricting the demographic they're going to watch your content. So to open that up a bit more, you would then obviously not age restrict it, and then have it so that everybody can watch it. And then hopefully you'd get more subscribers in that field, because ultimately, I think with my music channel and the literature part of the channel, however way I'd do it, eventually I want to maybe have just a few channels. And I know I would prefer to have it all on one channel, but because of the age restriction on the smoking, I kind of can't. So, and I would only be restricting it from people that are 21 and older, whereas the other way around, I could then do it to a younger demographic that I don't have to worry about having the age restriction on there with the smoking. Yeah, that's the only real reason. Otherwise, I'd keep it all on this channel. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Because you do have to say no, it's not made for kids while you're putting these videos up as well. So
exactly, and I remember when, I think it was it last year or the year before, they brought out the real age restriction where you have to say not made for kids specifically, or you can get fined or whatever. So you've got to be really careful. They've even said you can't have pictures of bloody frogs on your wall whilst you're smoking a pipe, because a kid could see that and construe that as being kid friendly. And I'm like, what are you on about?
No Frog Morton Cellar then.
I've never met a 16 or 17-year-old go, wow, pipe smoking, man, that's the thing for me. I'm watching YouTube videos, and it all started because I saw a frog on the bloody wall behind you. Bloody damn. I just think the world's gone a bit too bloody stupid in a lot of areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maddening, man. Absolutely maddening. It's not the world that I grew up in the bloody 80s and 90s. I'll tell you that much.
Agreed. What was I gonna say? Yes, on the note, how long have you been playing the acoustic as well then?
I've been playing. It's been a bit of a weird one, because like my pipe smoking, I played bits and pieces, and then I didn't do it for a while, and then I picked it back up and I went for it, full guns blazing. So really, it was my late teens that I really started getting serious about playing guitar. And I literally started off, I went electric first, and then I bought an acoustic, and then I played that quite exclusively, and then I went back to the electric, and then now I just kind of play with both. But I play my electric a little bit less, because obviously in my house, all my amps are, 50 watt, 100 watt, and if in trying to get them to play on one is just ridiculous, because all my amps are valve amps, they're proper vintage valve amps.
Lovely.
And I got like the Oranges and the Marshalls, but I really would like a JCM 800. That would be like my dream. But I got this. The thing is, you can run them through a hot plate, so you can turn the volume up without so much volume coming out of the cabinet.
Yeah.
But the problem is, obviously, we have such thin walls, and we had quite problematic neighbours that we were really in. I mean, I wish it wasn't that way, but they were just really quite nasty, and the noise they used to make at 1, 2 in the morning with the violence and all that was just ridiculous.
Oh, really?
But they've been moved on now. We've got new neighbours, and they are 100% times better. But because we're so wary of the noise that we're making and they make, that I don't really want to play anything out. And that's kind of why this whole, again, another reason why the studio was being built, so I could do all that stuff without actually having to worry about that. But I mean, it was definitely like from my late teens. I think I was about 19 that I really started getting really serious about it. Even though I played a lot earlier, it was kind of like a bit here and there.
Are you writing your own original material occasionally, or?
Yeah, no. Again, it really helps if you have a friend that you can bounce off of as well. Because I have a friend who I do play with occasionally, and he's really talented. Even though that they never say that they don't think they are, but they are. They're bloody talented people, and he probably says the same thing about me. But we like playing our own material, because whenever I've played stuff in public before, you'll get people asking for requests, and it's like, well, you don't know every bloody song in the book, So you say, no, I don't know that one. No, I don't know that one. No, I don't know that one. It's just, look, I'll play you what I do know.
Yeah.
And they generally always really enjoy it. And but with our own stuff, they haven't heard it before, so it makes them think, and they will generally remember you as well. I found that if we played stuff in the past that people have known, rock music or blues that people have heard before, they wouldn't remember you in the street as a like I'm just somebody playing that sort of music. If you're playing your own stuff and it's made them think, and they've not heard it before, and they've thought about it and they've gone away, you will see them people in the street 6 months later, and they will remember who you are, which I find absolutely incredible. So we do tend to play a lot of our own stuff.
Listen, you'll have to send me a track. I've got a couple of tracks recorded, and hoping this year to I play acoustic as well and sing. I'll send you a song of mine and see what you think. You can tell me.
I'd love to hear it. I really would. I'll do the same for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Please, that would be nice.
Yeah, well, that'd be awesome. Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Maybe come up with a little collab.
A little what?
Collaboration, a little bit of a collab.
You went very Cockney there.
Very Cockney there. Collab. I watched Uncle Phil about an hour before I come out here. I think that's what it is.
Ladies and gents.
Hello, guys. It's Phil here. He's such a dude, isn't he?
What was he saying? I can't remember what he said. Oh, yeah. He was saying at the start of the video about a rant that he recorded.
Yeah, and then he deleted it, so you're never going to know what it's about.
I thought he was saying rat, but it was so London. Oh, the rat. Like a bloody rat.
It did sound a little bit like rats at first. Yeah. But rat, yeah.
God bless.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He is.
He is.
Rightio. But I got a question for you.
Yes.
Okay. Which is because obviously you live in Ireland.
Yes.
I've always found that Ireland itself is not as like densely populated as say the UK is. Would I be right in assuming that?
There are pockets, just like the UK, I guess. The cities are densely populated, but there are parts, Donegal, for example, the whole west coast of the north of Ireland, which, you would find areas where there's thousands of sheep per each person,
Because I remember watching one of your videos, and I remember you saying, and I had this image of you living not like in a really populated area, almost like a little bit out of the way, almost like in a village somewhere. And maybe you didn't have a lot of people around you or something. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know, is that right or not?
No, I live in the middle of a town, but it's
All right, okay.
I'm in a newer development, and then sometimes where I walk my dogs, you may have seen where I filmed, it does look as if I'm out in the country, but it's just in between towns. It's just that
right. Okay, that's all right then. So like I said, if you can get that your new pipe smoking group together, that would be pretty awesome. Absolutely. You know, I mean luckily for me as well, I mean I'm in quite a popular sort of area. I mean, we're not talking city, I mean it's a town, but you know, I definitely, because you've got like Newton Abbot, Torquay and Exeter and that all within quite a radius. But I think the Americans have got that down to a T, that whole, you know, the pipe meets and stuff, because they just seem to have loads of people and they can all travel and they all sort of meet up. And I wish we had more of that here, because I know in London they've got the London Pipe Club and stuff and that, and they may have one or two others, but there's really not a lot that I've looked into it, as I said earlier on. I mean, I've looked to see if there's anything around, couldn't find nothing. But there's definitely, I think there are more people in different parts of the world that seem to have that more down to a T than we have. You know, we seem to be a little bit more reserved or something. I don't know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But if you do set up a pipe club, make sure that I can be an honorary member and vice versa.
Absolutely. And the same goes to you. Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Listen, Carl, on that note, I just want to keep it under 16 hours. So we'll...
I'm sorry.
No, I don't mean that. So thanks, viewers, if you kept up this long, and I'll stop the recording and we can chat on for finish our pipes anyway. So thanks for watching, folks. And Carl,
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you ever so much. Awesome. Thank you.